Welcome to Head Full of Radio, where a longtime Radiohead fan goes through the whole recorded discography alongside his friend, who's only familiar with the song Creep. Will we agree on the songs? Can I convert him into a fan? Let's find out.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready for this one?
I don't even know after what you said, but
yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, welcome to episode 84, which is not a prime number. It's, is it a prime number? I don't think it is, but...
No, it's twice of 42. The answer, I can't remember what the quote is. You know, the Hitchhiker's Guide is like...
The meaning of life.
Meaning of everything or value of life or something, yeah. One of those. And also, I think I quoted the "It's been 84 years" thing from Titanic meme at 82 for some reason.
It's also,
so
you know, the,
significant in that way.
The year that the book 1984 was written. And that's not actually the year that was, I mean, that's the name of the book.
Right. No. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Whatever. And the album Diamond Dogs. The album Diamond Dogs by David Bowie is secretly about the book 1984. He wanted the rights to that book so that he could use it to write the album, but was not allowed to do it, so he just kind of did an offshoot of it, which has turned out into the Diamond Dogs album. I
did not know that. That is very cool.
How about that? Today we are on Fitter Happier, which is kind of an interlude on the album. It's not really a song. Wikipedia describes it as a music, which is a type of music.
A music what? The sound went weird.
Concrete. Like concrete, but with an accent grave over one of the E's.
Oh.
It's a type of music composition that utilizes recorded sounds as raw material. Okay, so it's just like this
is getting very clever for me right now.
Yeah, so it's a sample musical and background sound and spoken word lyrics recited by Fred, a synthesized voice from the Macintosh Simple Text application.
Oh, very cool. I love how much they're diving into the OK Computer realm.
Yeah, York wrote this lyrics in 10 minutes after a period of writer's block while the rest of the band were playing. He described the words as a checklist of slogans from the 1990s and considered it the most upsetting thing I've ever written, but said it was liberating to give the words a neutral-sounding computer voice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. This feels like a form of therapy.
He says, everything is background noise, our whole lives, the way our minds work, and the whole album is about that, levels of mental chatter. One can practically hear the sound of construction vehicles backing up or the wash of echoing voices in a shopping mall. You know, and the reason Fitter Happier exists is because of that mental background noise. Some days you're in a disturbed state and it moves to the front.
That's actually feels really good for him to be able to articulate, because I think that's kind of some of the things we've already spoken about, the vibes in terms of that. What was it? I think it was Let Down into Karma Police. We had similar vibes, but kind of flipped. So him talking about how sometimes different things are at the forefront. I like that that's almost like, you know, validating what we've said to make us sound like we are actually picking up on things. So go us.
I also like what Ed said about this too. It's about the lack of naturalness in modern life. Tom basically had this checklist, like a 90s checklist, and he had it all written out. There's a bit of him playing a piano in the rehearsal room. He was very drunk one night, which is why you can tell the piano is being played sloppily. And he just played out this melody and stuff. He was very anxious that it wasn't him saying the lyrics in this thing. The voice is neutral. By the computer saying it, it doesn't become a bit of pretentious art wank. It's something natural and neutral in the way the computer stumbles over words and doesn't get the pronunciation or the inflections right. Yeah.
I'm very curious about this. It sounds like it could be very cool.
Yeah. So here comes the oddity that is Fitter Happier. You ready?
Yeah.
Fitter,
probably not, but
more productive, comfortable, not drinking too much, regular exercise at the gym, 3 days a week, getting on better with your associate employee contemporaries, at ease, eating well, No more microwave dinners and saturated fats. A patient better driver. A safer car. Baby smiling in backseat. Sleeping well. No bad dreams. No paranoia. Careful to all animals. Never washing spiders down a plug hole. Keep in contact with old friends. Enjoy a drink now and then. Will frequently check credit at Moral, Bank, Hole in Wall. Favors for favors. Fond but not in love. Charity standing orders. On Sundays reading Road Supermarket. No killing moths or putting boiling water on the ants. Car wash. Also on Sundays. No longer afraid of the dark or midday shadows. Nothing so ridiculously teenage and desperate. Nothing so childish. At a better pace. Slower and more calculated. No chance of escape. Now self-employed. Concerned, but powerless. An empowered and informed member of society. Pragmatism, not idealism. Will not cry in public. Less chance of illness. Tires that grip in a wet. Shot of baby strapped in backseat. A good memory. Still cries at a good film. Still kisses with saliva. No longer empty
Oh,
and
wow.
frantic. Like a cat. Tied to a stick. That's driven into frozen winter shit. The ability to laugh at weakness. Calm. Fitter. Healthier. And more productive. A pig. In a cage. On antibiotics.
Wow.
There you go.
That was cool.
Yeah. It's not one of those things people are going to re-listen to 100 times.
No, but like I'm glad I like got to like experience it and like because yeah, like you pick up exactly in what he was like getting at for
Mhm.
sure. Like yeah, it's like I understand what you're saying about background noise and like it's almost like intrusive thoughts, but it's like on the whole it's like a checklist of things that seemingly seem positive and that what makes maybe like a healthy or happy person or like this picture of health or like idealisticness. And then every now and then you'll just have something really jarring in there that like creeps in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, this has been disrupted. Now it's jarring and upsetting and but we're going back and it's this monotone thing and it's like all not quite right. And I think that does feed into kind of some of the vibes we were picking up on before.
It does.
So that's really cool.
It progresses the album quite well.
Yeah, I think I mean, I'm really interested on like the placement of that being specifically where it's at and what's going to follow from this.
Right.
And like if that's going to signal a departure from where we've been or like what, like, yeah, I'm just curious about what made them want to put that specifically where it is in the album.
Mhm.
So that makes me even more excited for the next episode as well.
Wonderful. I'm not going to do a cover of this one because, as you can
That's fair
understand,
enough.
that's kind of a weird song to do.
Yeah,
Easy,
it's not like it's originally even theirs in a way.
yeah, Easy Star All Stars, that band we listened to a few ago that was doing the reggae versions of OK Computer, do a cover of that, and it's okay. But it's
interesting.
not really worth their time.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So, what would you rate this one out of Tom to Minotaur?
Yeah, so obviously this is like, as you say, different and that it's not like a song. But for like the artistic piece that it was, I liked it. I feel like something like an Ed and a half feels appropriate for some reason. It's hard to like quantify or justify that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I reserve my Johnnies for like things that are like wow. But it felt stronger than like, because for me like a baseline is almost like Ed, and I was like I actively saw the coolness in what they were doing. But yeah, I guess that's the rationale for my Ed and a half today. What about you?
I think I'm gonna go. This one's hard for me because I think the shine has worn off. Kind of like last week.
Understandable.
At least it's not something that I, hearing you hear it from a different perspective, and the first time has kind of given me a little bit higher of a rating, actually. So
Okay.
I think I'm going to give this one an Ed. Just based on that, listening to you hear it for the first time made me appreciate it a bit more because I've lost a bit of it over time.
That's very understandable, because I think for me a lot of the time what informs my scores is the idea of would I listen to this again?
Right.
And you're right, if I think of it from that point of view, like I wasn't rating it on that same scale because realistically I'm not going to. But like maybe I'd read it again. Do you know what I mean? Like I definitely was intrigued by. I think I just like the almost lack of it being overproduced in a sense. Like he just kind of wrote all these things down. It like feels like it's. I like the idea that it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. They very well probably and did edit things that from what he like wrote down as that checklist. But I like the idea of it being some sort of very actual like snapshotable thing about what they were going through, as opposed to something that was like overthought. And don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of work that goes into like achieving that. So it's like in a way it's almost manufactured to do precisely the thing. Like I think Steven Tyler once said like it takes him a lot of money to look that cheap. So it's almost like this like what's the word, like oxymoron of like they probably deliberately did things to make it seem more like understated, even though it wasn't understated because obviously you've got all this like weirdness. But I like almost the simplicity of what it helps capture, if that makes sense.
That's a fantastic way of describing it.
Oh, why thank you. Hopefully that made some sense.
Well, thank you, sir. I am excited for next week when I'm going to give you a history lesson in British things.
Oh, I need them because I'm very unaware of all things that have ever occurred, ever. So precisely my own things that I should be aware of, I'm looking to find out about.
Oh,
so
wonderful. Thank you.
Catch you all for that. Bye. This podcast is recorded on Discord and is edited in GarageBand. The intro and outro music are Radiohead covers and can be found on Spotify under the band Lift. That's Lifte, with F as in Foxtrot. Also, find us on TikTok and Vimeo under the name @HeadFullOfRadio.